there's a lot of other issues. I mean, the big one, the sequester just cut $50 billion from science funding over the next 5 years, and that is a very scary number. Right. It's going to maim scientific inquiry and discovery, and I think we need to totally reverse that, and that's another generational issue for us. It's going to fall overwhelmingly on
the biggest generational issue for your generation is the debt. I get so upset with young people who say, well, let's have more funding for this, more funding for that. If we don't do something about this debt, you're going to spend all of your time working just to pay off for the fiscal sins that we're committing today.
So, Stephen, I think you probably would agree with return on investment, right?
Right.
So I think science funding, yeah. But there's a huge return on investment for funding science.
Right.
Way more than.
But the private sector science is the one that matters the most. That's where all the innovation comes from. I mean, and we got to get.
You can argue with some of the scientists on that, whether basic research is vital or not. I think it is.
Yep.
But either way, if we need to fund a lot of science, because it's like the president has been giving the example of mapping the human genome, offering $140 for every one that we spend. That's way more than any interest we pay for even borrowing to pay for that. That's an absolutely wonderful investment that we need to make.
So you think things like when the National Science Foundation spends money on snail mating habits and so on, that's a good use of taxpayer dollars.
We've been over this. You're not a scientist.
Yeah. I'm not a scientist, but I know that we don't need to spend taxpayer dollars on snail research.
Actually, you don't know.
Yeah, I do know we should.
But the point is,
wait a second. But how much is snail research out of the whole budget?
It's like a $2 million grant, but there are
$2 million.
Tens
and where
of
does the real money go to? See, this is always this argument, these anecdotal examples.
Wait a minute, Bill.
That have...
Bill, you just said you don't want to cut. It's the biggest program in the budget,
I didn't
Social
say
Security.
That. He said that.
Well, what are we going to cut then? I mean, tell me
what about military spending?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
We've done that.
What about understanding that revenue now is a percentage of GDP? Yeah, I know that's all you talk about.
Right.
But maybe if we asked 1 out of 4 corporations in America not paying any taxes,
we have the highest corporate tax rate in the world, Senator.
No, we do not have.
Yes, we do. 35%. The Tax Foundation says the United States of America has the highest statutory corporate tax rate.
And who funds the National Tax Foundation?
Whoa.
You guys talk about science. You're not. This is the science. We have the highest corporate tax rate.
Whoa. We have the highest corporate
nominal, not effective.
Right.
Not the one
That's what really people pay is the lowest. It's 12%.
How much does General Electric pay? Zero.
That's why we got to totally overhaul the corporate tax system.
Yeah,
I've been on that for. We should have a flat tax and get rid of every deduction.
A second ago, we were paying the highest.
We have the highest statutory corporate tax rate in the world.
But I mean,
some corporations get away with paying nothing. You're right. Because
1 out of 4 of them, as a matter of fact.
A lot of them, over half of the biggest 500 corporations pay less than 11%.
Okay, so wait a minute. Can we agree if you have the highest corporate tax rate in the world, yet our tax rates are that the tax collections are too low? There's a big problem with the system. We should blow it up.
You
and start
don't
over?
have the highest corporate tax rates.
We do. The statutory rate is the highest in the world.
That's the nominal rate, but no corporation in America pays 35%.
Don't say no, none of them.
Well, they should fire their accountants, that's for sure.
Well, you created the loophole.
I must...
You created the loophole.
I didn't, as a matter of fact.
I must declare a ceasefire here on the...